Hello everybody, it's time again for the 30-day gold and silver market update, but this month it's going to be done a little bit differently. I interview my friend Jay and fellow dealer at the Minot Gun Show, and we're going to talk about the gold and silver market, what's affecting it now and where we see it going in the future, including resistance levels, premiums, and a whole lot more. It's a great video, be sure to tune in. Hello everybody, we're joined by my good friend Jay Temchack out at the Minot Gun Show. How you doing today, Jay?
Good morning, Josh. We're already having too much fun.
We are. The doors are set to open here shortly. They're closed at the moment, but we thought we'd do a quick interview with Jay before things get started. So how'd your day go yesterday?
It was, the gun shows, you never know at any show what is going to be the item that everybody wants or don't want. So you got to bring as the old saying, the kitchen sink. So,
yeah, and as evidenced in my live stream yesterday, for those of you who watched it, Jay did bring a lot of different items. I'll just show a couple of those, or a few of those. What kind of things are selling, Jay?
I was able to sell some gold, a mixture of gold, some Canadian coins, which always do well here, but that's mainly for the coin silver, since it's 80% in. One thing nice about having Canadian coin silver in your stacker is it's a foreign currency.
Correct.
As compared to 90% junk constitutional silver. Well, you have constitutional silver of another country that's well recognized here.
Yeah, and it's been my own experience that 80% silver doesn't sell well for me, and I don't know why that is.
Well, 80%, just some people like to have a little mixture of various types of products in their hand instead of just one particular, whether it be 1 ounce, 5 ounce, 10 ounce, 20s, or the 100 ounces or kilos. So it's just a little different mix or twist to have. So it's just nice just to have some.
Yeah, it's nice to have fractional pieces, because I know a lot of my customers, and I have a feeling a lot of yours as well, maybe fall into that prepper type category where they do believe that they may need to use their metals to barter at some point, and 80% and 90% silver is something good to have because it's already fractional.
It's fractional. It's easy to recognize.
Right.
And they print a little larger date.
Yes, absolutely.
And the design changes too, but on the 1 year was at 80 or 67 where they did 80% and 50%.
Yeah, what a dumb idea.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's a nice mixture. You sell a few dollars. I sold some large size notes, some small size notes. Hawaii notes are extremely popular, especially 5s and 10s right now, which I don't have any, but those are being sought after quite a bit right now.
Yeah, I noticed, or I remember earlier we were talking about you were possibly trying to source a $500 and a $1,000 bill, just to have for you personally or for your auction? Or
just for the auction.
Just for something different.
Just for something different. You always got to have an eye catcher.
Yeah.
I had a beautiful lazy deuce as an eye catcher in my display cases, but I sold that last week, which it's always nice to have a nice eye-catching piece.
Well, right, somebody walks by and sees something different. You want that eye-catching piece so they stop and start asking questions. It's a conversation starter. Yeah. That's what I call them. Yeah.
Well, Walmart calls it a loss leader.
A loss leader, yeah.
Yeah.
You might not make any money on it. You might even lose a little, but it gets people to the table. It gets people excited, I guess.
Yeah, for the cost of print advertising today, you got to figure out new ways to get around it.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, print ads are extremely expensive.
But the good part yesterday, I met customers, brand new customers I have from the auction company, come up and say hi and visit. And it's always out amongst your customers and meeting and visiting people and, always advertising. So shows are a way to advertise and get personal and discuss thoughts and opinions, or, hey, I like this guy, or hey, this guy's a whatever. I don't want to do business with him. So there's good and bad, but you still got to be in front of the people if you want to be in some of these businesses.
Absolutely. You just brought up thoughts and opinions, and my viewers and viewers of channels similar to mine always want to know or hear insight from other dealers about precious metals markets. And you and I just talked before we started filming. In the last 7 weeks, silver's up approximately 17%. Gold's up about 10%. Where do you see things going from here? I'm not asking for numbers, just generalized thoughts. And everybody bear in mind, these are opinions, never a guarantee, but I'm curious as to your thoughts.
Well, I'm really happy this week because generally on Thanksgiving Day and going into Black Friday, the markets are thinly traded and they've always dropped. because I've always bought a lot of metal to have for this particular gun show. The week before at the Fargo show we have, and sure as heck I bring it here and the metals are down in value, so you break even. But it still was dealing with the people. So this is one of the first times I remember in recent years where Thanksgiving, Black Friday, we went up in value. But I'm still looking for a pullback over the next couple weeks now that we start thinking of portfolio readjustments, people selling off losses, capital gains and so many items going forward. But the biggest uncertainty out there right now is when's the next little mishap going to happen in Israel or some other Egypt. With anything going on, there's a lot of trigger happy items out there that could set off any of these markets. And what it could be, I don't know.
Right.
And it's really, really concerning. So no matter what the price is, keep adding a little bit just to have it.
Yeah, consistent stacking is a great strategy. I should ask you this too, Jay. Even before we started filming too, we had a great conversation. I thought, dang it, I should have had the camera rolling. So we're trying to remember everything we talked about. But you talked about resistance levels, and that gets some airtime in channels like this. There's kind of maybe not industry agreed upon, but a lot of people tend to agree where certain resistance points are is in terms of spot price for gold and silver. And once it breaks through a certain level, it really can start to take off on the uptick. Where do you see resistance levels right now with silver? And bear in mind, as I film this, everybody, silver's at $24.42 per ounce. That's the Kitco ask price, and gold is at $2,003.70. So, both performing well, as Jay mentioned already, compared to where we were last week. So, resistance levels, where do you see those?
Well, as always, round numbers are key. So, 25, I think, is a large number in silver, once above or below. Then we still have all the 26, 27, 28 range. There's a lot of noise from years ago and through that range.
Yeah.
And the battles, but once you get above 25, even where we are now, then we could build a new base potentially, or they could pull it back down. Even we got down to 22 here a while back, it didn't get down to 20 or 18 like we had last October, a year ago.
You're right, absolutely.
So it held those, but the one beneficial item we have right now, as far as even us as dealers, premiums are low.
Right.
We're not laying out as much capital to have material in hand easily accessible, let alone in stock. The capital you tie up is a lot less with lower premiums compared to not that long ago at $2, $1.50. So
yeah.
It makes it nice for everybody. And the mental thought of somebody walks in, hey, here's the price, but well, I paid $2 just to get it in my hand because of the premium, where now I can almost sell it for that over.
Yeah, it's a big difference, and premiums benefit, well, not everybody, but most everybody, including dealers and the customers, the end customer. So that's silver. Where do you see gold? And and like I said, I'm not asking for numbers because nobody knows, but are we near a resistance point? Are we almost butting up against one? If we do break a little bit past it, where do you see gold going?
Well, right now, the low 2,000 is a resistance right now, just right over 2,000. If we can pull back, consolidate here a little bit, because that was almost a $180 jump, $190 jump pretty fast.
Yeah.
I mean, once the rocket started flying, it took off, and I didn't get some customers probably covered the way we could have, but that's just the way it goes. You're always thinking, well, it could pull back, then you're upset. But that's just consistent stacking plays the longer picture. Same way, your stockbroker, just add every month, and such like that. So that's the bigger part of that. But if you pull back on the gold charts, we already have a double, triple top going across. And if we can ever get through that, because from stocks and everything, I remember that triple tops, once they're broke, they're gone. You go through that resistance level.
Right.
Unless there's some other game out there we don't know that could play into this metal market compared to the paper market. But if we can get through that with gold, I think you better have some of your stash already put away.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, I'm glad you said this because you mentioned unless there's something else we don't know. And that's the biggest part with metals. There's so much unknown and there's many outside influences that can impact the spot price, which impacts the landed price for everybody. And those are unknown. You don't know till they happen. Like you mentioned, once the rockets started flying in the Middle East, silver went from 21, now we're up over 24. Gold went from 1820, and now we're over 2,000. So, global events like that definitely do have impact on markets. There's other forces, but it's the unknown. And that's why, as you mentioned, consistent stacking is really the way to go. And try to identify when there are slight pullbacks, and if you can afford to buy more at that point, great. You can't always time the top and the bottom perfectly. You can only know the top or bottom if you look backwards in time, right? You can't predict it per se, but yeah, well, that's very good. Jay, how about auctions? You got some auctions coming up?
I have putting the one together right now for December 9th.
Okay.
It's going to be a wide mixture of a lot of currency, a little bit of metal, and the rest will be all slab coins.
Wow, okay.
So keep moving different items, but I do have a lot of currency to keep moving out. So it'd be a nice time to add some silver certificates or maybe some red seals, 1s and 5s and 2s along that.
And potentially a 500 and a 1,000 if you can acquire one in time.
Yes. It's not. I like to add some other little things in there just to mix it up a little bit.
Right.
But I got to get it done earlier so I can get packages out before the Christmas rush.
Makes sense. Yeah. You really don't want to have packages in transit those last couple weeks of December because, I had a 2-day priority package from 300 miles away take 12 days to get to me over the Christmas and New Year's holiday a couple years ago. And it was an expensive one. So everybody was sweating, but...
Well then, I'm planning, I have another large one, January 13th coming together, which will be pretty exciting. I'm going to be down at the Fun Show in Orlando, Florida, working with some other dealers there. We have a couple tables we're sharing, and then I already have on the hunt for a 93S and a 95 proof Morgan dollars, so we'll see what comes along with that.
You have some customers that are looking for those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, that'll be fun trying to find those.
Well, just make sure the checkbook can handle it.
Yeah, both coins are very expensive, so yeah. And those are usually the last two pieces to fill out a Morgan collection for most people.
And they're wanting nice, eye-appealing pieces, and they have the funds to cover it, so that's not the problem. It's just finding nice pieces.
Right.
That's a limited market. But the Fun Show is something anybody ever interested in this coins and currency. It's the first week of January. It's kind of nice to be in Orlando, especially from our neck of the woods. Definitely that much. But the auction business is going well and just having lots of fun, meeting people and discussion and different thoughts and opinions. You never know what the next phone call could bring some days.
You're absolutely right about that. Jay, remind us again of your websites, and I'll put those down at the bottom and in the video description.
Well, the basic website where I keep the calendar kind of listed and just what's coming up. I'm not much of a typer or writer, so it's www.temchackauction.com, or what I use for my redirect to get right to an auction if I have it listed is 701auctions.com.
Yeah, 701 is the area code for North Dakota. That's the significance there.
Yes.
So, Jay, anything else you want to discuss?
No, just hopefully we have another nice day here at the gun show. Have a lot of fun.
Yeah, people are already starting to come in. The doors are open. Well, Jay, I appreciate you taking some time and talking with me today. The gun show is open. There's people in here now, so I think we both better get to work. But thank you again so much for your time. It's always a pleasure, and I wish you good luck in your upcoming shows and upcoming auctions. And I'm jealous that you're going to the Fun Show in Florida. That's a show I've always wanted to go to. Maybe someday. Do they still do one in July?
They do one in July, yes. It's a little warmer, a little nicer, but it's air conditioned, so it's good.
Okay.
It's kind of nice to go to the beach that time of the year.
Size-wise, as far as the show, is July similar, or is January the big one?
January is the big one. July might be, I'm going to say, more than half to 2/3 of what the January show is.
Okay.
But January can be overwhelming to have that much territory to cover, and you definitely take a piece of paper and a notepad and write down table numbers if you saw something you liked or consider.
That's very good advice. Otherwise, you may never find it again in that large of a room. I think I've read about it. Aren't there 400 tables or more? Maybe it's even more than that.
It's way more than that. It's probably more than 400 dealers alone.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's the number I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's incredible. So, yeah, if you've been in the fun show, leave it in the comments. But Jay, I better let you go so we can get to work.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Well, the best part of the YouTube channel like this now is the thoughts, opinions, and what can be shared. Current information, stay up to date on things, and it's kind of a blast once you can kind of get hooked on it a little bit. It's really a lot of fun. So thanks to you, Josh, because you've introduced me to some new media with this and sharing it and expanding people that I've met now because of it. It's kind of nice.
Absolutely. I'm glad to do that because, in my opinion, only my opinion, we have maybe the best group of dealers in terms of camaraderie and friendship in the state of North Dakota. We all get along, we all work hard together, and we all try to help promote for each other. So that was the whole point of this, is to get your name out there to people who maybe hadn't heard of you before. So I'm glad to hear that it's paying off for you. That's the whole point.
Yeah, now we're heading into the wrong time of the year that works on your brain sometimes with the weather.
True. Yeah, it is almost December now, so snow's going to start flying.
All right, well, have a good day, Josh.
You too, Jay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.